Hi guys, happy Friday. Welcome back. Oh my goodness, it's been about a month, probably longer, that we've uploaded our last episode 7. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. So, the reason why we've been away for a while was because Alejandra was going through her cancer treatments. And today's episode is going to be about her journey. So, what do you want to say?
So those of you who maybe are new to our podcast or haven't heard some of our other podcasts, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer in August of 2018. And since then, I've been kind of in and out of doctors and getting surgery and getting treatments for it. And finally, after how many months was it? 7 months. Finally, after 7 months, they finally told me that I am cancer free.
Woohoo!
Which, that is great news for me. I do have to keep going to the doctor though and making sure, it doesn't come back. But other than that, I am very excited. Just the only thing I really hate at this moment is my voice. It just doesn't want to go back to what it used to be.
Yes, that's why if you guys have listened to the other episodes, you guys notice there's some difference in her voice, but slowly but surely she's getting it back. So I know that's very exciting.
Yes.
Let's begin when you think you started feeling different, because the doctors told you that it was a progressing thing, no?
Yeah.
That it would progress slowly.
And this is the very slow growing cancer, so we really aren't sure when it all started. So I mean, it could have been just last year, it could have been 5 years ago. We still don't know, and I don't think we'll ever know when it started. But I think I started feeling different like 2 or 3 years ago, when I started feeling really tired and just overall different in myself. But I noticed the lump on my neck just last year around June. No, I'm gonna say around May. April or May is when I noticed it.
So because we aren't the type to, unfortunately, to go as often to the doctor as we should. So that's another reason why it took her so long to find out what she had. But I'm guessing you knew something was off.
And I don't know if you guys are listening to us, everyone here in the United States or out of the United States, but at least here in the United States, the cheapest way to go see a doctor is to have insurance. And me, for a while, I wasn't able to have insurance. I couldn't afford insurance. That was one of the main reasons why I didn't go and check myself or anything for a while. But when I noticed the lump on my neck, I remember it was during the time that we were going to the gym. So I thought maybe it has something to do with the weights that I've been lifting, and that's why it's something there is growing.
Did it hurt?
No,
it was just there.
It was just there. And I remember I texted my sisters and I told them, and they were like, "Oh, well, go get checked." And I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna keep checking it, and if it keeps growing, then I'll go and I'll get it checked." So we had finally got our insurance the beginning of last year in 2018. But I was also scared of going to the doctor because I knew something was wrong. I was like, something has to be wrong, because you don't just start growing a lump out of nowhere and have it be nothing wrong with it,
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew something was wrong. So, of course, like everyone else, once you see something wrong with yourself, you start Googling, right? So I started Googling, and a lot of places that it was probably like something to do with hypo or hyperthyroidism. And I was like, no, something tells me it's not only that. So then I kept searching. And that's when I came and found out about thyroid cancer, which I had never in my life heard of thyroid cancer.
I've never heard of that before.
So when I was reading about thyroid cancer, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have a lot of these symptoms, but I don't want to say that it's this. I don't want to get myself scared about it being this.
I feel like that was one of those situations cuando you search and like why does my ear hurt? And then you go into WebMD and they tell you all these crazy things. So then you start panicking.
But when I read about thyroid cancer, I was like, I think this is what I have. And everyone in my family kept telling me it's nothing bad. I just go get checked. And everything's gonna be fine. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get checked. So I finally went to the doctor. I told her about the little lump. She was feeling around, and she's like, does anyone in your family? Does anyone in your family have thyroid problems? And I'm like, no, not that I'm aware of. So she sent me to, I think the first one was blood work and an ultrasound. So I went and I got blood work done in the beginning of August. And then I went that same day to get my ultrasound done. And I remember just laying down right there getting the ultrasound, and I was just praying so much. And I'm like, please don't let it be what I'm feeling that it is. Please, God, just let it be something else, something that I could just take some pills and it'll be gone. But since then, I knew something was wrong. And then the blood work, the ultrasound, they sent the results to the doctor, and then they called me from the doctor's office and they told me that I had to go get a biopsy of the lump because something was off with the blood work. And then what they saw on the ultrasound coincided with the blood work, so they really needed me to get a biopsy done.
Can you explain what a biopsy is for those people who don't know?
So for a biopsy, they take a little piece of whatever it is that they need to test. They take a little piece of it. Well, in my case, they took 6 different samples of it so that they can examine it, and that's how they'll get the results of what it is. So I remember I went, it was about an hour away from where I live, and we went with Anna and my mom and my nephew, and I remember just all the way over there I was praying, and I was like, if this is for me, and if you really think that I'm strong enough to be able to go through something like this, then it's fine. I'll take it. But if you don't, and I was talking to God obviously, but I was like, but if you don't think I'm strong enough and I'm still gonna be going through this, what's gonna be of me? Like, but obviously I didn't want to tell anyone in my family because I didn't want to worry them, because they kept saying everything's gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine, nothing's wrong with you, so whatever. We get to the hospital, and I remember going into the room. The nurse was super nice to me. I remember she was a white lady, and I remember her name was Maria, and she took me in. She was talking to me. She's like, "Are you nervous?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm a little nervous." She's like, "Oh, don't be nervous. Everything's gonna be fine." She's like, we're just gonna take a few samples from the area." She's like, everything will be fine, I promise. So then I go into an operating room, and I remember there was like 10 people in there, and it was like the main doctor, and then it was like students, and then it was the people that were gonna help the doctor. So I'm just there, and I'm looking at everything that they're doing, and the nurses are talking to me, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine." So then on the left side of me, they had the ultrasound machine, and the doctor was checking to see where the lump was. So then they took the lump, and that's where they took off 6 samples, and it was so painful, you guys. Not there obviously because I had anesthesia, but afterwards, oh my God.
Were you awake?
That area was so painful, and it was so hard to swallow. It was just painful. So that was on the August 15th, if I remember right. So then I get a call from the doctor's office, and I remember it was a Friday. And the nurse called me, and she's like, Alejandra, she's like, we got the results back for your biopsy. She's like, and the doctor needs to see you. She's like, she wanted to see you today, but unfortunately we don't have any spots available for today. She's like, so if you can come in on Monday, she wants to talk to you. And that's when I knew, okay, something is wrong, because they don't call you from the doctor's office to give you good news and have you wait or tell you to go see the doctor.
Were you anxious having to wait since Friday to Monday to hear what she had to tell you?
No, because I already knew what she was going to say. Because I'm like, it can't be good news and they're going to have me waiting. So I'm like, I know what it is. So Monday, I remember my mom wanted to go with me to the doctor, but I didn't tell anyone at what time I had to be there, because I wanted to go by myself. So I get to the doctor's office. I remember I had to go to work first. Then I got out of work. I went to the doctor's office, and I get there and just everyone was treating me different, and that's when I knew like you guys are being too nice. Like, usually they're nice, but that day they were being too nice, and I'm like, what's going on? So then the doctor's nurse takes me in, and she's like, how are you doing? She was being all nice, whatever. And that day I was also scheduled for a pap smear. So she was trying to distract me with the pap smear. She's like, oh, you also have a pap smear. Do you want us to do it before or after? And I was like, can we do it after, please? I just want to get the results already. She's like, okay, that's fine. So she takes me into another room. The doctor comes in, and she sits down, and she's like, so do you want me to do the pap smear now, or do you want me to do it later? I was like, I just need the results. Just give me the results. I'm anxious for the results.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember she sits next to me, and she's just looking at me, and she said, well, I'm afraid I don't have good news to tell you. And I knew it. I was like, and I told her, I was like, I know it. And she's like, so the results came back for your biopsy. She's like, and it shows that you have thyroid cancer. And obviously, you hearing that you have cancer, you don't care if it's good or bad. You're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying? I have cancer. How? No one in like my immediate family, like my mom and my dad, have had it, and they're old.
Right.
How do I get it? Whatever. So she's like, yeah. She's like, I'm afraid we're gonna have to run some more tests on you. She's like, because it's showing. She's like, I'm not sure if you've heard of thyroid cancer, papillary carcinoma is what she said. And I was like, no, I've never heard of that. And she's like, it's a type of cancer in your thyroid gland. She's like, that affects the way you are producing your hormones. And I was just there and I was crying. And she's like, do you want us to pray for a little bit? I was like, if we can, please. So I remember she held my hand. And she was like, God, I don't remember. She said a beautiful prayer, but the thing I remember the most was her saying, God, if this is not for Alejandra, please have it be taken away from her. And the next time she goes to get blood work or any other test done, nothing's going to show up and she's going to be fine. And it's going to be a miracle. And it's all going to be because of you. And I was just sitting there and I was crying so much. And I'm like, how am I supposed to give this news to my family? Like, to me, it's fine because I already knew it. I already knew something was wrong. But they didn't, and they kept saying everything was fine. So how am I supposed to tell them now that nothing is fine, that I have cancer? So whatever, we did what we had to do. And I remember I left. I got in the car and I cried so much. And I'm like, how am I supposed to break this news to my parents? Most of all, like, to know that your siblings have cancer, that's one thing. To know that your parents have cancer, that's something different. But I feel like to know that your child has it, like, I feel like that's even more painful because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Right. You don't expect your kids to go through something like that when you never went through something like that.
So then I texted her and I was like, are you home? And she's like, yes, I'm here with my mom. We're waiting for you if you want her to go with you to the doctor. And I was like, well, I'm already out. I was like, I'm on my way. So I remember I was driving to Anna's house and I put this one song that has to do with death. And I know I was probably being dramatic or whatever. But I was just thinking, like, what's going to happen to my family if I end up dying of this? Like,
right.
How different is their life going to be now because of me?
And those of you who have been listening or anything know that we've been saying that Alejandra's she's the one that's very attentive with the family. So for her to be going through that, thinking, how am I going to tell them, must have been really, really difficult.
Yes. So then I get to Anna's house and I just couldn't hold it. And I remember I was walking in the door and my mom was waiting for me at the door. And I just couldn't hold it. I just grabbed her and I was crying so much and I was hugging her. And she was like, what's wrong? And Anna comes downstairs and she's like, what's wrong? And she hugs me too. And I tell them both, I'm like, well, they just told me that I have cancer. And we cried so much. We cried for like 10 minutes. just there on the couch. We were just crying, crying. And they were like, how is this possible? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know anything yet. I didn't want to ask any questions. I was scared.
Hold on, y'all. It's a sentimental moment. You can't just expect for her to be able to talk about it just without being sentimental. So, hold up.
So then finally we were just there, we were talking, and they're like, what did they tell you? And that's all they told me, that I have thyroid cancer. I don't know how bad it is. And they wanted to know, like, they said, what stage is it in? They wanted to know all these things, and I couldn't answer them because all I wanted to do when they told me was get out of that doctor's office and go to my mom and just hug her.
Mm-hmm.
And you were still at work, right?
Yeah, it was at work.
Did I tell you through text?
No, you guys, you were acting normal.
I told you nothing happened, right? I told you everything was fine.
You were acting normal because I was still at work, and I'm guessing so I wouldn't get distracted or anything. So then I got off of work, and I don't know who texted me, if you text me in the group or whatever, that you guys were at Anna's house. So I'm like, okay. So me, I was just thinking, oh, she's fine, so she just went over there so she wouldn't be at the apartment by herself. So yeah, then I got there, and I don't know, the vibe felt weird. So I went in there like there's probably something that she's not telling me. And then yeah, I get there, and you were at the table, I think, or were you in the sala? I don't remember. She was sitting at Anna's table, and then she started crying, so I already knew something wasn't right. And then she tells me that she has thyroid cancer, and I cried a lot. I did cry a lot because we do live together. We've been living together without our parents for about two years now. So it was sad for me, like, to know, again, we were probably being over dramatic and everything, because thankfully thyroid cancer is the most curable one, but we didn't know. We didn't know anything at that moment, and I didn't want to ask her any questions. So just thinking about it, like, what if it's very serious? Like, is she gonna die? Is she not? I don't know. So many things were going through my head, so it was a very scary moment for everybody. As soon as I went in Anna's house, though, I knew, like, something's not right. Something's happening.
And then my dad was at work too, and I had to call him, and I think he had gotten home already. And we called him, and we told him, and he cried, and he said that I had to be strong, that I was going to get over this. And we called my sister Erika, and we told her as well that my brother-in-law got there from work, and we told him. And I don't know, it was just the worst day, you guys.
It was a very emotional day for everybody.
So then the easy part was being told I had cancer. Let me just tell you guys that. Then after that, it was so difficult to finally get a doctor to see me.
Mm-hmm.
It was so difficult to finally get the surgery scheduled. I was so stressed out. I cried so much because nobody was helping. I would call one doctor. I remember my primary doctor referred me to another doctor, so I went to see him, to a specialist, to an ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor. And I went to see him. I didn't feel that I could trust him. So I ended up having to look for another one. And when I finally found her, she was perfect. Like, I felt so comfortable. I felt like she knew what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the insurance comes back and says she's not covered by the network. So they had to refer me to someone else. So they finally referred me to another one, and they said, this doctor's going to go through your case and see if it's something that he can work on. And if it's not, then he's going to pass it on to his partner. So then this doctor checked it out. He said he couldn't do it, so he passed it on to his partner. And I finally had my ENT. So then I needed...
How long was that process? So remember, you guys, it happened, they told her she had thyroid cancer
August 20th.
Uh-huh. August 20th. So from August 20th, how long did it take for you to find a doctor?
To find the correct
The one that did the whole procedure and everything.
In November was when I finally found
From August 20th to November, you guys. That's a long time.
I already had my ENT and my endocrinologist, because that's the two main doctors that you need. The ENT is the one who's gonna check and make sure that the tumor hasn't affected any other area around, like your vocal cords or anything like that. And they're the ones who perform the surgery. The endocrinologist is the one who checks my hormone levels and before and after surgery, and that's when they base themselves off of how much medicine I'm gonna need and all of that. So of course they didn't take the ENT that I wanted. So I had gone to an endocrinologist. She was amazing. She knew what she was doing. The insurance called and said she wasn't in the network, so they had to find me one. So after I met with the new ENT, I didn't see an endocrinologist at all after that. So I didn't get any blood work done after that. I didn't get to see if I had to go on any type of diet or nothing. Nothing was told. Nothing. The only thing that I was told was, this is the day you're going to get your surgery. I'm like, okay.
So mind you, during this whole time, you had already started finding videos and reading about the stuff, right?
Yes, like I already knew everything other people had gone through once they found out they had the cancer.
And then you knowing that they didn't put you on a diet or they didn't tell you the process, everything that you had to do to prepare for the surgery, did that worry you?
It worried me, but not because I'm like, there's no way that a doctor's gonna go through all of this without knowing what they're doing, right?
Right.
Because the insurance clearly told me, if they don't know what they're doing, they're gonna pass it on to someone else. So the first doctor said he wasn't able to do it. So he passed it on to supposedly someone who was able to do it. So I was like, okay, he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to say anything anymore. He never asked me if I was seeing an endocrinologist. He never asked me anything, nothing.
He never asked you and he didn't send you.
And obviously, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I should or shouldn't have to see one, whatever. So then, December 4th was my surgery. So I go in, I get my surgery, whatever. I wake up from surgery, and the first thing I remember was that I was making some type of noise. And in my mind, what I remember after being all drugged up was that a nurse came by me and she was yelling at me and she was telling me that I couldn't be doing those types of noises. But now that I think about it, now that I go back to and I've watched all these videos of other people, I think what the nurse was trying to tell me is that I couldn't be coughing because I was gonna hurt myself, basically.
Oh, true.
So
yeah, I remember you had a really bad cough.
So not once did anyone tell me that I couldn't be coughing. First of all, so I was coughing like crazy. I've watched other videos where you remember that breathing exercise that you had to do when you got out of the hospital. I've watched other videos where every other person that I've watched, they had to do that breathing exercise at the hospital.
At the hospital?
Yes.
What?
And I didn't get that. So I'm like, is it necessary or not? What else was different from what I watched?
The diet.
But that was for the treatment.
Oh, yeah. And we keep saying diet because there was a lot of people who had to be on a low iodine? Low iodine diet.
So then, after my surgery, 2 weeks later, I had to go in to see the ENT. And I went in and I told him about my voice, and he said, don't worry, that's going to heal, whatever. So I was like, fine. A month after my surgery, I went back and I saw him and I told him, my voice is like this and like this. Oh, because for New Year's, I went to a party with my boyfriend and we were dancing, and there's no way I could have kept dancing. Like, I was so out of breath. And I'm like, what's going on? This has never happened to me. So when I went to see the ENT, I told him about it. And I told him my voice is still not back to what it should be. And he's like, let's give it 6 weeks. No, he said, let's give it some time. So then I went back and I saw him again. And that's when he told me, let's give it 6 more weeks. And I'm like, so I have to keep waiting all this time. My voice is not getting better. I can't breathe. Like, how does that make any sense? I just have to keep waiting. So then, this was during the time that we quit our job. And when I got another insurance. So finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and check if the first ENT that I had, which I felt very comfortable with, and I felt like she knew what she was doing. See if she could help me out with this. Because previous to this, in January, I think, I went to see another endocrinologist because he was supposed to put me on some different medicine before I got my radioactive iodine treatment. So he put me on medicine, on hormone medicine. It was like 75 mgs or whatever. And he's like, you're going to be taking this 3 times a day. So each capsule was 25 actually.
This was already another doctor or the same one that...
No, this was another endocrinologist. So each pill was only 25 mgs and I was supposed to be taking it 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, 2 weeks before you get your radioactive iodine treatment, stop taking the pills. That's all he said. He didn't tell me if I had to go on a diet, nothing. He just said stop taking the pills. So then he referred me to the doctor who was going to do the treatment on me.
Mm.
So I finally met with this doctor and I told her that I had stopped taking the medicine completely. It had almost been like 4 or 5 days that I hadn't been taking any medicine. And I'm like, and my joints, I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but my joints hurt a lot. I feel very tired.
Yeah, because that was your hormone medicine, no? Yeah.
I'm like, I feel very tired. Like, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, oh my goodness. She's like, no, we don't want you off of the pills completely. She's like, keep taking them. But then I was scared because I'm like, this doctor's telling me not to take them, but this doctor's telling me to take them. So who do I listen to?
Right.
So I would just take like 1 pill a day or 2 pills a day. I was scared to take them all at the same way the doctor had told me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started feeling a little bit better. Then I went and I got my treatment, which is a little pill. It's radioactive. So you have to be, well, at least I had to be isolated from everybody for 5 days. My sister had to stay at my other sister's house.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I use a bathroom, I had to basically clean it. Anytime I brush my teeth, I had to completely clean the sink. Anytime I used any types of utensils or cups or plates, I had to make sure that I washed them thoroughly because I was not about to be using so much plastic stuff.
Right.
The garbage that I used, I was told that I couldn't throw it away for 2 or 3 weeks. So I had to make a pile of garbage and save it for 2 or 3 weeks. The clothes that I wore, I had to keep it away from everything and wash it immediately. It was so much, you guys. It was a lot. And so then the 5 days were up. I finally made it. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm gonna go look for another endocrinologist because I still don't feel right. I still don't feel like I'm supposed to.
You were still having doubts.
So I went back to the first endocrinologist, the one that knew what she was doing. And I told her everything. I was like, this other endocrinologist told me to completely go off of my medicine for 2 weeks. He didn't put me on a diet. He didn't tell me anything else. And she's like, oh my goodness. She's like, going off of your medicine is the old-fashioned way. She's like, now it can do you more bad than good. She's like, you really need your medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So then she gave me a higher dosage of the medicine. So I've been taking that and I've been feeling pretty good. She said that not having gone on the diet, basically it's a better option. So it's like if you're exercising, let's just put this as an example. If you're trying to lose weight and you exercise, but you're still eating junk food, you might not get the same results as if you eat healthy food.
Right.
So with this treatment, I was gonna get the treatment. It was still gonna do the results, but maybe not as good as if I would have gone on the diet. So so she's like, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So I'm like, okay. So the results for the treatment, and they said that everything was fine. She's like, we just looked at everything and it seems everything is fine. She's like, you are fine. She's like, now all you have to do is keep going to your endocrinologist appointments and making sure basically that it doesn't reoccur.
At this point, they still hadn't told you that you were cancer-free, right?
That's when she told me.
Oh, she's the one that told you to see? Okay.
Yeah, because that's the results from the scan that I got after the treatment.
Right.
Which, by the way, you guys, that scan for someone who is claustrophobic.
Oh yeah, your
they would
body
probably,
scan. Yo, I would pass out in the first minute, bro.
It was so scary, you guys. It's like this machine that comes down to your face and it's almost touching your nose. And you just have to sit there still for like 10-15 minutes.
And the thing, it covers your body, right? Or just your
no,
head?
it's just like this part, like to here.
Oh, to your torso.
Mm-hmm. So you have to lay still for like 15 minutes, and then they went and they took a scan of my stomach area for another 10 minutes. And then my head again, and then my stomach again, and then my head because something went wrong, and then my stomach. And
oh no!
I was just so tired, you guys, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I don't want to see this again. This is so scary. So that's my story. Now for some of the questions that you guys asked me to answer were:
is it normal to feel tired, like to not have any energy after your RAI, so radioactive iodine treatment?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how you are. Like, are you active or not? For me, I didn't feel tired, but I did sleep a lot because I didn't want to think about that I was isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So I did end up sleeping a lot, but I did get a suggestion from someone on our Facebook. It's like a support group, and she said that she made herself a schedule, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
I had a schedule, and she said that she would wake up and she would do like yoga or something, and like she had a whole schedule. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to do during those days, is to plan out what you're gonna do, just so you're not there and just stressing about what am I gonna do now.
Cause you can't even open the windows.
No, you can't do nothing.
So is that the only thing that you felt, just that you were sleeping? She wants to know, how was your body feeling? Nothing?
I didn't feel anything then. I felt it the last day. So I got my treatment on Wednesday, and then on Sunday I started feeling like the locked jaw feeling.
Uh-huh.
I started not having a lot of saliva.
Okay. Just they want to know if your voice was different, but you already covered that.
Yes, my voice has not come back to what I want it to be. I still can't sing, you guys. That's annoying. I want to be able to sing. I love singing.
Selena hit us. Do you think it will go back to its normal voice? I think yes, because obviously it's like if you're going to the gym, you're not gonna see results on yourself because you're with yourself all the time.
But that's another thing I forgot to tell you guys. My endocrinologist did advise me to go to a new ENT that's gonna check if my vocal cords were messed up during surgery.
Oh right, they might have touched your vocal cords. Okay, that's it for that one. Oh, I was saying, so we already can notice a difference in her voice. So we don't know if it's because it's already been a long time, or if it's because thankfully her doctor was able to give her a higher dose of the medicine. Maybe that's what she needed. But we can tell. I keep telling her that there's this crack in her voice, like if she's going through puberty. So we know that it'll go back. Maybe not to 100%, but it'll be better.
Yes. They asked me if I could give them an update on how I feel now after the treatment. And I don't feel different from what I felt before the treatment. I know a lot of people feel tired many weeks after, but at least I didn't. I feel fine. I feel the same. I feel like that's what I feel. I've seen a lot of people, weeks after their treatment, they still feel a lot of fatigue.
I wonder why.
What I have felt, you guys, is running out of breath while I'm sleeping.
While you're sleeping?
Because then I wake up and I feel like my heart is beating really fast, and it almost feels like a panic attack. So for everyone out there who might be going through this, or who might have been told that they have thyroid cancer, Don't be scared. Mine was, if I remember right, a stage. It was barely getting to a stage 1 cancer. Because it did kind of spread to, it went to another, like a lymph node right under my throat. So when I got the thyroid removed, they also had to remove a little lymph node from there. They did not have to take out my calcium glands or whatever those were called. They had said that it was spread to one that was right under my chin, and that the ENT was positive about it. But when I went to get the ultrasound, they didn't find anything, thank God.
Good.
Because if you guys wait, that's another thing. If you guys feel like something is wrong with your thyroid or with your neck area, or if you guys feel a bump, go get it checked, you guys, because this can spread. Even though it's slow spreading, you never know how far along you are. And this can spread to your lungs. It can spread to your stomach.
Yeah.
Like, get it checked right away, because it's scary.
I think it goes in general for anything. Like, if you feel something wrong with your body, listen to yourself, because maybe if you would have gone earlier when you noticed that, oh, I'm feeling very tired for no reason, maybe same for me, if I would have gone to the doctor when I started feeling the pain in my stomach, it could have been avoided. But I mean, it happens, and thankfully she was able to get out of that situation, and now she can say that she's cancer free and there's nothing else that we have to worry about, because that was a very scary time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if this one is not so cheerful, you guys.
I know.
It's a very serious topic and emotional at the same time, so I can't be super cheerful about it.
Yeah, but we had to talk about it in case there's somebody out there who is going through the beginning stages like she was. Maybe this will give them the courage to go get checked and get everything situated as soon as possible. Or if they're scared about going through the treatment, like, just listen to this episode and try to make it help yourself to get the courage to go get that taken care of. Don't be scared, because everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, so if you guys have any other questions for me, leave them in the comments, and maybe we'll think about doing a YouTube video with Q&As about this, so I can answer them there as well.
But yeah, guys, I think that's it for today. Like we said, sorry we've been off for so long, but we had a good reason. But we're coming back. We're coming back, and we're coming stronger, because Alejandra's getting her voice back.
Yes.
And it's been way too long.
All right,
so
guys.
Yeah. So make sure you guys tune in to the next episode. I'm not going to tell you guys today when it'll be up, because I don't know. But it'll be up. And I don't know if we mentioned in the last podcast that we're on Apple Podcasts now.
Oh, that is true.
Did we? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify now, so you guys can listen there as well. All right, everybody, have a safe night. Have a safe rest of your week. A good weekend. Be safe. Be happy. And that's it for me.
Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you on our next podcast.
Bye, everybody.